Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Pivawum Matsume. Would you ladies like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Anita Hellingwolf Spradlin.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm Frida Ray Armstrong, grateful person of Wellbrighty.
Well, thank you, ladies, for coming on today. It was perfect timing.
Yes.
I know Anita didn't expect to be
No, I did
broadcast
not.
nationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, look, here I am.
Yeah. Well, what brings you all to the office today?
Well, I came to pick up some Wellbrighty books, Red Road, The Reflections, and the Medicine Well 12 daily meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a meeting tomorrow at the Kelly Club with the board and want to hold space there. And I really want to hold space for some get into the 12 steps, especially for the youth also.
Mm-hmm.
But I also go in that area because majority of my life, I mean, I'm talking like most of my life, I've been running, ripping, running around with the east side and
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of black folks and, selling, being that drug dealer and also um, being that person in the circle of collecting money for people and and I look at it's all doing with trafficking.
Yeah.
And I got to be truthful on that. Got to
Mm-hmm.
be truthful within myself that Frida, I wasn't doing good for other people, and to go back and give back to the community that I took from also, because every one of us is human, a part
Mm-hmm.
of the human race, and we all have that culture. And so tomorrow, I'm gonna, represent them some books and explain about Wellbrighty and why I want to come into the community there. And Kelly Club is the oldest club
Yeah.
on the west side of the Mississippi, and it
Mm-hmm.
was formed in 1946.
Wow.
So Bill spoke there twice, and they
Really?
have a hump in their first step where it's so worn down. That's of all the people that were coming in and out of the meetings, coming in
Mm-hmm.
and out of the place, and that the building is where they used to, when you were detoxing, and they would put you in a little room back there, and you could detox and stuff like that. But it's, they're so down to earth, and they hold a lot of meetings for AA veterans
Mm-hmm.
meetings there, and my sponsors from there. And I was talking to her about it. It was just on my heart for about a year, maybe a little longer, and that's where exactly the first time I walked into an AA meeting in Oklahoma was at the Kelly Club, and that was 2009. So for me to, I'm just going to keep in prayer because I know Father God has went before me,
Yeah.
and everything that's been going on in my life within the past year has gone before me, and I'm so grateful. Also, shout out to Toyot, Colorado, because planted seeds and stuff also, and I'm going to be leaving from there, and it's not a goodbye, and it's a see you later, because when I go back I want to do pop-up meetings still.
Mm-hmm.
I still want to give back there, um, still want to, when we do this, get into these being fire starters and stuff. I feel like that, we plant the seeds,
Yeah.
and we go in places and plant the seeds and start doing the healing forest, and eventually get people could take over wherever reservation they're at or whatever community they're at, and be able to go back, and I'm gonna go back and still visit and do pop-up meetings, and no matter where I've gone and where I've been, and just that um, connecting, the interconnection that we have as human, as the human race. But yeah, that's why I'm here today.
Wow. Yeah. Then that's great. Because that's what it becomes about. It becomes about that service. And I appreciate what you do. And I see like, to me, you're just constantly moving. Every once in a while I just want to say, sit down. Yeah. Sit down, kick back, put your feet up. But like you were saying, the creator has went ahead of you. And I think that's powerful. Because I see your walk, and I see the company you keep, and it's like, man, like, you're really doing this thing. I mean, you ladies are really out there. and I just want to commend you for everything that you do, and I think it's powerful. Definitely some go-getters, and I appreciate, and I've always heard great things about the Kelly Club. Great things. I mean, and I was the same way. Ran around on the east side. Like still got a lot of friends. Over that way, and but that's amazing. I can really appreciate what you all are doing. So it's always good to see you all. Always great to to share a space with you all. So I appreciate you all for coming on today. And it's just kind of, as soon as I heard your voice, I said, yeah, y'all's just in time. You're about to go live. So uh is there anything?
Yes, I just want to put a plug in. I do facilitate a well writing meeting on Saturday, tomorrow at 1 p.m. at 2421 North Classen in Oklahoma City. I've been doing this meeting for almost a year now, maybe past a year, and we're staying strong. So everybody is welcome. No, all nations are welcome, and I just appreciate the people who do come and show up, and I hope to see everybody tomorrow. Hope to see more tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Is that around the corner from TRC?
It's right across the street from
Okay.
TRC. Yeah.
I believe that it's on that corner, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. What is the name of that company that
Beginnings.
Beginnings?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the company over Beginnings, I went to their detox in California.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever I seen like that's who has that building,
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's pretty awesome. I had no idea they were even in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
They have sober livings too,
Mm.
and they do Uber in some of the clients to my well variety meeting.
Wow.
Not every time, but most of the
Yeah.
a lot of times. Yeah, I'm a facilitator for Firestarter. I want to get certified in other areas, but right now, like divine intervention, whenever it
Yeah.
happen when it's supposed to happen, So I'm just holding on, and I also have a PRSS, so to work in the recovery sector.
World. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm grateful for every day that I wake up sober.
Definitely.
A nice warm bed, roof over my head, food in my stomach.
Yeah.
All the things that the Creator has blessed me with. He has blessed me a lot. I haven't.
Hmm.
When I complain, it's like just why,
Yeah.
and so I have to change it up and start being grateful, and that makes the day go by better, when you start being
Yeah.
grateful, because all I got is today, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
right here, right now, and living in the present moment, being present. Um it's it's you have to practice it,
Hmm.
because your mind wants to wander to and fro, past and present, I mean past and future, and then you're missing out on today.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's what they say. So, anyways, yeah,
Well, that's pretty awesome.
yeah. Thank you.
Pretty awesome. And it's just kind of I remember meeting you ladies, and like it's just been a watching you all grow, and not only are you just like watching, like you're bringing people behind you,
Mm,
and like that's to watch that service part of your recovery, like it's a beautiful thing, like I wish I could be more like that, I always make excuses, like I always got an excuse,
yeah.
like and to see you all you know go through your community and have the impact that you do.
Mhm.
I really look up to what you ladies are doing, so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being who the Creator needs you to be.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah, it's been quite a journey, and just the way y'all just walked in today, and Nita ain't even got on her eyelashes, but yeah.
I know. I feel naked.
Yeah. But it's all right though, it's just I like the way we watch this community just keep growing and growing and growing.
It's like it's like in the Red Road Recovery book, talking about the healing forest,
Hmm.
and we're part of that healing forest.
Oh yeah,
I come from Western Oklahoma, and I don't know what path the Creator has me on, but I would like to go back out that way,
definitely.
and do some Wellbriety or do, I want to be the tree planted in this healing garden and then
Hmm.
help people and stuff in my community because they see me at my worst,
Yeah,
and they know who I am. So if I could do it, anybody can,
for
definitely.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And I was out in Clinton today, and I was just kind of we got to go to the elders conference today,
Ah,
and that was awesome.
yeah.
Like they're all, them old ladies are, they're ornery, because at our table we give out. See, in my little sector, I had HIV test home kits, syphilis home kits, condoms, chapstick. What else was there? There's gun locks. I mean, like it was funny just to hear their little comments.
Yeah.
This one lady, she's like, "I need a couple of those gun locks because I be locked and loaded." You know? And then there's this little group of old ladies, and every time they were like, "What's in this?" Because the condoms come in a black package. They kept saying, "What is this?" Those are condoms. Oh, they'd throw them down, and then another one would come behind her and be like, "What is this?" Those are condoms, and she would be trying to reach for a medical lock bag, and she kept grabbing her hand towards the condoms. And they all had something funny to say.
Yeah.
Some of them like, well, I might get lucky while I'm here. Just they all, yeah, they all had something funny to say. And it was just cute.
Yeah.
Seeing them old ladies, just kind of enjoying each other. And I thought that was, it was just cute.
Yeah.
Seeing a bunch of my aunties, meeting new people.
That's just, yes. I'm an elder too, so I'm in one of those old ladies.
The old lady.
Yeah. I'm a young old lady. Yeah.
Well, it is. I consider. I'm not too far behind you. So I consider it a blessing.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
who would have ever thought that the lives that we lived
Yes.
that we would have
Yes.
the opportunity. And I love it because after I got sober and I came home, and then my two oldest daughters, they both had kids, both had daughters, and I was just like, like the creator, he definitely knew that that's what I needed.
Yeah.
Like he definitely knew that that's what I needed. Because it's only been, it had only been like, a few years since my son had passed away. And the way that, like it all just happened. I got sober, well, my younger kids, they lost their mother to this addiction. And I at the time I thought like, man, like God is cold-blooded,
Yeah.
to leave my kids here with me, like, with me, like I thought, I was a little upset, but like it broke me completely down, because before that I lost my son, and then watching my kids hurt the way that they did, like that done something to me, on the inside, and I didn't know how to handle it. So, that's when I decided to go get sober, and then was sober for a couple of years, for about 3 years. And then, well, my daughter, my second oldest, she had my granddaughter's about to turn 3 in February. So, I'd only been sober for about 2 years. So whenever it happened,
Yeah.
like I people are like, but you're so young, and I'm like, I don't care. Like when this little girl sees me,
Uh-huh.
the way she lights up and wants to run and give me a hug, and
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
like every time, like
Yes.
it like that's the only confirmation that I need that I'm doing something right in my life.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
and I always say, my granddaughters are the only family members that I have in my life that have never seen me loaded.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those are the only two.
Yes.
I even though they didn't know, yeah, I
Right.
was yeah, I was lit.
Oh,
Way out
Somebody
there.
yeah, somebody showed me a picture like, is this you? And I'm half the size that I am now. I was like, they showed me, and I was like, you know what? I was so high in that picture.
yeah.
Like I can admit that today,
Mhm.
but I was so high in that picture. And they were having a sweat for my son, but I was so high I
Go and
couldn't even go close to it.
Yeah.
I just went over to my mom's and I waited at my mom's when they came over to eat. But like I pulled up and I was like, nah,
yeah.
I don't even want to attempt
Right.
to try to, I don't want to be disrespectful. So
Yeah.
I just went on to my mom's and waited, and luckily I have some good brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were there taking care of everything, while I was in La La Land.
Yeah.
So but yeah. But yeah, it's I it was cute. It was cute today watching them, all them Nishkits and Nawals. Yeah. I'm about to call her back.
Hey, Patrick. Patrice Spotted Wolf said good
Patrice,
afternoon.
hey,
Hi,
sis.
Patrice. Yes.
Yeah.
How
Glad
are
you
you
could tune
doing?
in.
Right. She's been sober some time too.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Yeah.
10, probably going on 11 years by now. Yeah, she came to one of our meetings and got a coin.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, Patrice. Yeah. I remember when she used to Fancy Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
It always seemed like we always went to the small dances,
Yeah.
Clinton, Thomas, around Gary, around that area. And I remember when she used to Fancy
Dance.
Shaw.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool
Yeah, yeah.
to come for full circle.
Yeah,
You know what I
full
mean?
circle.
Yes.
Well, does someone feel
Meditation.
like reading?
Sure, I'll read it.
Okay. This one.
The
No,
meditation.
the meditation.
Okay.
Today is the 14th.
Yeah, all day long. Usually I'll be smoking it out in here whenever. Keep a big pile burning on there.
November 14th, fall meditation, because we are in the fall. So the hearts of the little children are pure, and therefore the Great Spirit may show to them many things which older people miss. Black Elk, Hihaka Sapa,
Mm-hmm.
Uguala Lakota Sioux. Sometimes adults think they know more than the children, but the children are closer to the truth. Have you ever noticed how they can read people? Have you ever noticed how quickly they can let go of resentments? Have you ever noticed how free they are of prejudice? Have you ever noticed how well the children listen to their bodies? Maybe adults need to be more like children. They are so innocent. The children pray to the Creator and trust that He will take care of them. Grandfather, today let the children be my teacher. When I read this morning, it really hit, because my mama always just say that children are close, children are close to Father God,
Oh yeah.
and always be aware. And um, in 2009, both of my daughters got raped by my one of my boyfriends, and I
Mm.
didn't. I look back when I had got out of prison and I started getting sober, even like 4 years ago, and the more I got sober, the more I look back and seen the red flags, But while in my addiction, I wasn't
Yeah,
even seeing,
can't see it.
and for me to say to them, I would do something to anybody that would touch them,
Yeah.
to all my children, which as a mother I shouldn't, because it made them scared that I might really do something and they were going to lose me. That's why they weren't able to tell me. But my mama always said that children are closer to Father God, and they see, especially when I was younger. They always say, well, if a child sees something, they've probably seen a ghost or probably seen the unnatural,
Yeah.
and hear things, and just like the animals, you know, the animals out there. And when I was reading this morning, it just, I was praying on it, and um, always have that whenever I'm around children. You could always tell if they're gonna come to you
Yeah.
because they see our aura, my vibe, or whatever, and they could tell. Might not be the best person, but they could tell a good person in their
Mm-hmm.
spirit, in their, you know. So always look at that on children. And man, I like this today. All this week really been
Yeah, it's
talking about
been, yeah,
children.
Mhm.
children, education, yeah, all the. Would you like to comment on that, Nita?
I just like to say that, like with my grandchildren, they've never seen me use or be, after I've used or drank,
Yeah.
So they've never seen me in that light. And every time I see them, they do run to me too, also, and they miss me. And I was just like, oh, somebody misses me, you know what I mean? And but that is so true. I sit here and think about it. They do not hold on to resentments. You know what I mean? They once they have a little tiff and tiff with each other, it's like gone in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And they are innocent. And you have to shield them from different things.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to shelter them too much, but you need to uh,
Keep them
keep
safe.
them safe,
Yeah.
teach them manners,
Mm-hmm.
respect, those things. And uh but yeah, yeah, I am so grateful for my grandchildren, because I can see their, just their ways is just so
Yeah.
innocent, like it says. And well, that's all I got.
That's good. Um, when I think about this, like I always think about, if, like, most of the time I don't even know what to share, right? Like when I look at all these every day, and what I understand is from my own experience, what it was like. I remember so many different things. I'll tell my brothers like some of my memories, and they'll look at me like, damn, you can remember that? Like you were a baby, like and it's funny because, like in my family, my Aunt Carol used to have a lamb suit for babies. And I remember being in that suit, and I watched my little sister be in it. I watched my little brother be in it, and then watch, other ones be in that suit, and I remember being all hot and, like, but, just understanding what it was like for me. And, I was around, I'd be around my dad, and, my dad was, he was an alcoholic. And I always knew like who would keep me safe.
Mhm.
Like there's some places, like if I didn't feel safe, I would just sit on his lap. Even when he passed out, I would just stay on his lap, and like, and wake, keep trying to wake him up, wake him up, wake him up. And sometimes I'd have to walk him home.
Oh wow.
Like come on, like, and you know, I don't know, like that was just me and my dad's relationship,
Yeah.
like, and but understanding what it's like now that I'm an adult, and I get to, try to be that safe space around kids. And That's one of the things that you notice is their innocence.
Yeah.
And I think about when mine started going away.
Yeah.
I remember, man, my brother Brandon was ornery. He's a few years older than me. I remember being 5, 6 years old, and he stole a bottle of Rush from my mom's boyfriend.
Oh wow.
And I was
Yeah.
5, 6 years old. And we went to the Indian Fair. Then we ended up going to Lawton, and they were all partying. And me and my brother snuck out the window. Didn't know where we were at, what we were doing. I remember we were laying in back of this truck. It was kind of like on Friday, like, but it was the cops driving by, and I was crying. He was like, "Shut the hell up," But I remember, that's the first time I ever got high. He was like, "Smell this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Take a big," like I said, he's ornery. Take a big whiff of it, like, and I remember it burned my nose. I took such a big whiff.
Yeah.
It burned my nose, but I was just like,
I know, right?
like instantly, and it made him laugh, and I want to say from that point on, um, I didn't know who I could tell about those things.
Right.
I don't know who I could explain that situation to. Besides a bunch of other alcoholics and addicts. But you know, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like then after that, I've still never told my mom. Well, maybe I have. I think I have told her that story. And she was just like,
That's where it went.
"Boy, yeah, boy," But it was just kind of like, I could see my innocence fade.
Mhm.
And then when you understand that type of life and how secret you got to keep those things,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and how I remember being at cake parties,
Yeah.
and we would spray the stuff on the ice, then we would start eating the ice, like,
Yeah. Dang.
and you you just, I don't know, it's like, you know can I be mad about, because I had a bunch of ornery cousins. We were all ornery as hell. We were all looking for that, to get away with that kind of stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
And it just, like I said, I'm watching my innocence fade
Yes.
a little bit more each time, and as a grandfather today, I'm learning about what it is to keep a safe space,
Yes.
and understanding how it feels, to be that little kid
Mhm.
Mhm.
that, not to say that I never had that, because we lived with my grandma. You wasn't allowed to drink at my grandma's. Like it was that simple. When sometimes when my mom would come home and she'd be drinking, they'd make her leave. My older brothers would make her leave.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I grew up around that. But then I'd come to El Reno, and it was nobody around. Like, it was just kind of like sometimes I was the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, sometimes I'd be at a complete stranger's house, and I could always tell, like, this isn't safe,
Yeah.
and people would be like, "Come on, you want to go to the store?" No.
Right.
Like, no, I don't. Like, everybody thought I was a little turd because my dad let me get away with anything. I'm his only child. Let me get away with anything, but I was smart enough to know,
Yeah.
like, this is my safe space.
Right.
This is, as long as, like, nobody's gonna come and jerk me off of his lap,
Yeah.
or,
Right.
so I mean, I don't know how many times I would just fall asleep right there. He'd be you know. And I'd curl up next to him, or wake up in the car, be the only one, hear a big party going on inside, or but it's that it's that innocence that I can learn from today,
Yes.
Yes.
because whenever the way I'm thinking is like I had to, like my daughter had to go through her own struggles with me, but I didn't get, I thought I was doing a good job because I wasn't taking her everywhere with me drinking,
Mhm.
but I was being absent from the home,
Right.
and I can see how that affected her, as she got older and dealt with her own addiction.
Yeah.
And now that she's a mother, she's in sober living, she's doing what she needs to do. You not to say that I'm just forgetting about her, but like now the focus is on my granddaughter,
Yeah.
and she lives with my sister. They were removed from the home, so now they live with my sister. And like just watching these little girls, like like just full of life.
Yes.
Don't understand. They're 1 and 2.
Uh-huh.
All they know is that they can't wait to see their mom.
Right.
And my sister, she's just that outstanding human being that will always hold a safe space, for anybody.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know one of these days, my granddaughters are gonna be home.
Yes.
I know that for a fact. But it's just getting their mothers to understand what that means,
Right.
and how we can learn from, because I tell them all the time, like maybe y'all should have been taken from me.
You're right.
There was a time when I was a single dad,
Mhm.
and I didn't have nobody. It was just me and my 4 kids. And I always think like if that would have happened, then that would have been, because I always wanted an excuse to stop.
Yeah.
Just never had a reason.
Right.
I always wanted any excuse to stop what I was doing, but I just never had a reason.
Right.
So I always think about that. So a child as a teacher, because that's perfect, because like it says, they forgive instantly.
Yes.
They're so resilient, like they, and I've heard it said before, like no matter how bad of a parent a kid had, when they come and take them away from them, they always want their parent.
And they have unconditional
Yeah,
love,
unconditional.
for their parents.
So I mean, it's definitely something. It just puts it into a new perspective for me.
Yeah.
To have that understanding, and so much of God's grace. Like because they're not biased. They're not. They haven't seen the ugly of this world as much as everybody else.
Right.
So I mean, it's just so many different ways to look at that.
Mhm.
Just, but yeah, it would have to be, that innocence that, and by the time, like I said, by the time I was 5, mine was, you
Yeah.
know, I still had it. I guess you could say I still had it, but I knew how to take advantage of it.
Yes.
That's how smart I was.
Yes.
Like I knew when to take advantage of it. So I mean, it's a great reading today.
Yes.
I like how it it's on some of these I didn't know how to explain it,
Mhm.
but today, whenever I read it, I didn't read it till I got back from Clinton. And I was just like, wow. Like, and then whenever I read these things, all these old memories come back,
Mhm.
of the little turd I was. I was a little turd. With my dad, yeah. With my mom, it was a different story. Yeah, we walked a straight line with my mom, but
You're right.
it's my dad. I get away with anything.
Right.
So I always think about that. When my dad quit drinking, whenever I was 14, in 1994. He quit drinking whenever I was 14, and then I picked it right up.
Mm.
That was the first time I went home and I was drunk,
Yeah.
Oh,
and my
wow.
dad seen me.
Mhm.
It wasn't the first time that I got drunk. The first time I got drunk and taken home, I was 11
Yeah.
Wow.
in Thomas.
Wow.
Went home, my mom beat the dog at me. Me and my cousin George Whiteshield, we were swimming in the Thomas pool, all buzzed up. My cousin Jack took us to Weatherford, and we drank the neck out of a quart, and that
Oh.
was it.
Right.
11 years
Yeah,
old.
that's
Yes.
all.
Yeah,
I
11
remember I was
years
making
old.
those fists.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that. What is it? Peppermint schnapps
Mm.
is what I first drank. It was a gallon,
Burn.
and I thought I didn't even know. I was just drinking and drinking, and ended up in a river.
Wow.
Passed out. Whoever I was drinking with went and pulled me out. Peed all over myself. I was so out of it.
It was the river.
It was the
Yeah.
river. It was the river got me
Right.
wet.
Who pissed in my pants?
You did. Like I was thinking with my mom when I was young too. I peed on myself in the bed, and I hurried up, got up, changed, and I woke up my mom. I was like, "You just peed in the bed." She thought, "Oh, I did," and she got up, took a shower, and all that time I did it. I finally told her when I got older. I was like, remember that time I said you peed? It was me. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Who the hell pissed in my pants? I don't know where these guys went.
But Sunny Nightwalker, Sunny, I know what's Nightwalker. I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Said hi from San Diego. It's good, Ishbiva.
Hey, all right. Thank you for
That's
tuning
good.
in. We appreciate it. That good
David,
Cali weather.
yes. Someone, David, dear Jasu.
Tongo.
Good
Tongo David.
afternoon,
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Aunt Millie.
Mm-hmm.
Barry did have some weird friends.
That guy right there. That guy right there.
Then he said, joking, joking, bro. I was in the bunch.
Yeah.
Bro did. He's like, ew, ew, ew. Yeah, I did.
Hey, one time
I
he
said, bless
called me.
myself all over.
One time he called me. We were teenagers. He called me, and like we would see each other on the daily. Yeah, when he wasn't locked up, but we would see each other. And he calls me one day. I was like, "What's up, fool? What are you doing?" Oh, nothing. Just now got home. I was like, "Where'd you go?" He said, "I got shot in the head last night."
Oh
I was like,
my.
"What? What, boy?" Like he came riding his bike. Only the left side of his body worked,
Oh no.
and he had a big gash in his head, and he got shot in the head that night
Oh
before.
my god.
Yo.
Life is
Still
short.
going.
Yeah.
Still going.
Still ornery. No, but he's sobered up. He's doing good. I seen his mom. Seen mom earlier. And I told her, I was like, "Yeah, I talked to Babes the other day," and she's like, "Yeah, he's doing all right." So yeah, one of my
Oh,
crazy
good.
friends.
Let's see who else is up there. Stacy Star.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Stacy. Glad you could tune in.
Hello,
Yes.
hello. Great share. And Aunt said, boy. Boy.
Honor guy, honor guy.
He says, "How dare you tell my story?"
We at what's the address here?
Yeah. He's in Tulsa. I can talk about him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you all have coming up would like to share about?
No.
Remember, we have the meetings on Wednesday.
Yeah. You want
Wednesday. I don't know the address.
4400 Southwest 21st in Oklahoma City
Yes.
at the Tribal Resource Center. It's just off of what is that? Meridian?
Meridian.
Meridian and 21st, and it's right behind the Ramada Inn.
Yeah. 4400 Southwest 21st.
Yeah.
It's where they handed out the meals.
Yeah, where they handed out the meals yesterday.
Mhm.
On Wednesdays at noon, we have a talking circle in Oklahoma City. So usually these lovely ladies are usually there, but that's and I don't know why one day we forgot about it. It was like the second day the second time it was supposed to happen.
Oh yeah.
And we're all at the same time. What about the noon meeting? Like I can't even remember where we were at. We would have been an hour late. And Frida was like, I got it. And I was like, oh my God, I love that woman.
We're
Like,
sitting outside.
yeah.
Right, waiting.
Oh my God. Like that was pretty awesome. So
It was
you
a
know.
pretty good meeting. I think I was there, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you have a meeting Saturday at 1,
Yes.
2421
North Classam.
North Classen. It's right there basically off of 23rd, huh?
Yeah, it's right off of 23rd. As soon as you make your left.
There's like an empty building there, and then it's right behind that, huh?
Well, it's a strip mall.
Yeah, strip mall.
Yeah.
Right next to Mochi Nut.
Yes, that's exactly where it's
Yes.
at. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll have beginnings on the outside. and
Yeah,
stuff.
big painted letters,
Yeah.
beginnings.
Yeah.
So
And I'll be here more now. So I'm back in Oklahoma. I'll
Uh-oh.
be here more. And
For how long?
Father God only knows.
Yeah.
He only, otherwise, I'll be here planting the seed and doing the healing forest. And
Oh yeah.
whenever He says in my heart, Frida, I need to send you here, then I'm going to go for a while, but I'm always going to be back
Awesome.
here.
Awesome.
But otherwise, I'm here. So
Yeah.
I'll be helping.
We're
Anita
all like,
cook.
look at
I know. I don't have no idea where they went.
What did I do? Just go around and click it.
Yeah, you just go around and you'll click on that, and then a box will come up down here, and you click on the box. Yeah. But like, share, follow. Tell your mammy about us. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Frida Ray, for coming through for us. And we will see you Monday. I hope.